listening to the Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, this is Ian.
This is Daryl.
And this is the Announcer's Table, and today is Wednesday. So that means it is interview day. So what we got going on?
Well, we got an interview.
Oh, yeah? Is that what we do on Wednesday?
That's what we do on Wednesdays.
That's right. So who we got?
We have Shawn Rage, and you and I have both had the privilege to see him wrestle quite a few times.
Definitely.
And I know we both talked about him after we seen him wrestle, and we enjoy his style, and he's really good. So, Shawn, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, guys, for having me on.
Not a problem. We've actually met you several times, seen you wrestle at different events. You was at the TWA
End of an Era.
Yeah, End of an Era event. We saw you there.
Yeah. We
saw you up in North Georgia in Ringgold. So I mean, we've had the privilege of seeing you quite a few times.
Yeah. I remember meeting you guys at I believe it was SCW the first time I saw you. And then, up at TWA End of an Era, I spent a lot of my career at TWA from start to finish, I would say. About 90% of my career there at TWA, in and out. So, when they said it was End of an Era, I mean, I dropped everything to make sure I was there for that.
Yeah, I can understand it. We did a video segment just on TWA because we both have some memories of being there. And I mean, I wrestled there once. It wasn't very close to where I live, so I didn't frequent there very often, but I did wrestle up there once. But yeah, it was a shame to see that go. But
yeah, that was a big staple in independent North Georgia wrestling. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Doug and Peggy, got a lot of guys their start, and when they had actually started in Chatsworth, they gave me basically that chance because I was still real new to the business. And they said, you know what, we'll still use you and give you that chance. And for that, I'll always be grateful to them.
Yeah. So how long have you been in the business of...
Well, I started training in February of 1989. I was 12 years old. I had my first match in October of 1989. So right about 24 years.
Oh, wow. That is a long time to be wrestling,
Yeah, it is.
Well, who was you trained by?
A guy named Randy Connor. Really nice guy. I mean, his in-ring work itself, I mean, I look back at it, he was okay, and he wasn't really great. But he knew a lot about the business, and he really beat the crap out of me a lot for a very long time. And he trained me the right way, and then once I got so far into the training and I was able to wrestle, he allowed a lot of training to also, come from the guys that I wrestled. There are some things you can't be taught by just a trainer. You have to be in that situation to learn it, and he allowed that to happen but he monitored pretty closely for the first 2 years of my career, and just kind of stayed in the back but watched and made sure that I was learning the whole time when I did begin wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting how different people train, and how it carries on from person to person. Have you worked on training with any other guys now that you've been really experienced for the last 24 years?
I've trained a lot of guys. Ray Fury was really, really, very green at the time. I mean, he'd only been going for a little while, and he was put with me as a tag partner. And from there, I decided to take him under my wing and actually teach him, and he pretty much credits me as his trainer. Guys like Josh Vaughn, I trained him. Scott Bear, I trained him. Damian Black, trained him. I helped with Adam Young's training. And, a few other guys here and there. So, I mean...
Yeah, that's great.
And, I wrestle for TWE every first and third Saturday of the month at Red Bank. And they're getting ready to start having training sessions there, and they've asked me to come up and train some of the guys for them.
Right.
So, they're doing it.
Yeah, well, we actually had Josh Vaughn on as an interview a couple months ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're really impressed with him. So
yeah, well, I'm a big Josh Vaughn fan.
Yeah,
I like him.
I could imagine you and him working together, and that would be a great match to see.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Oh yeah, we've actually had some very classic matches for ECW before they closed their doors. And of course, me being his trainer, I mean, he knows a pretty good deal about me, and I know a great deal about him. So it does make for really great competition and some really, really good matches.
Yeah. Well, we're going to hop into our 10 questions and just get to know you a little better. We ask these 10 questions to everybody just to, it sparks conversation, and we get to know everybody and their style of wrestling. So.
Yeah, what they like.
Right.
I'll start it off. What is your favorite gimmick match?
Oh, wow. Normally, I like things like the casket match, but I think probably my best gimmick match was a few years ago on Halloween. I did a Buried Alive match with Cody Ayers, and probably one of the best matches of my career.
Most of the time you see the Buried Alive matches with like the Undertaker and things like that, and so to see those in an independent scene is really cool. It gives the fans something new that they don't see very often.
I was making some playlists for some future interviews that we got going on, and I come across a couple of them that was having casket matches and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're very interesting and very difficult to pull off because you've got that casket there, and it's not just getting the guy in the casket. You got to get him to be there in that casket long enough to make sure the lid closes.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, once they realize they're inside that casket, they freak.
Oh yeah.
So they're going to do everything they can to get out. So it makes it that much more difficult to actually to do that. And I think it's one of the reasons why I think casket matches are. I think it's just the competition. It makes it that much harder to get the win. So when you do get that win, it's got a lot of credibility to it.
Definitely. Well, if you could wrestle anyone, living or dead, who would you want that to be?
Oh, I believe there's a tie there. I would say either Shawn Michaels or Kurt Hennig.
Oh, Kurt Hennig.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Kurt Hennig, yeah. I mean, everybody's a Shawn Michaels fan, but I mean, I love Kurt Hennig. I was a big fan of the Fisherman Suplex. I just love that move.
Yeah, with Shawn Michaels, the fact that he can just bring out the best in anybody. And I've always wanted to aspire to be able to do that because, I mean, he could probably go into a wrestling ring and wrestle a mop and still make it a main event style match.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with Kurt Hennig, I mean, it's just, when they called him Mr. Perfect, he was really that good. That's the way I saw him. And, I mean, he could just pull off anything if given half a chance. And I would really love to have been in there to, try to work with one of those guys. It would have been great.
Yeah.
All right. Who is your favorite wrestler?
Right now I'd have to go with Shawn Michaels. He's really, really, I mean, like I said, he's got that ability to bring out the best in anybody.
Yeah.
And it's not just the way he wrestles, it's the fact that he can bring out the best in someone. So when he has a match with them, he's getting their best. So if he beats them, then he's beat them at their best. So, I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've always loved Shawn Michaels. I mean, watching him from, the early 90s for me on, forward. So
I remember watching him back in AWA. But he was chubbier.
He was. He wasn't quite as ripped as he is.
Yeah, it was right before he got with Marty Jannetty. So before they started doing that.
I think seen a couple of matches with him when he actually was finishing his matches with a power slam. So I mean that was really, really a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, do you have a favorite wrestling moment?
Oh wow. I don't know if I could. That's actually kind of hard to call. There's just so many great moments. I don't know. WrestleMania 6, main event, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior. The intensity of the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, he wasn't really a great worker. Hulk Hogan, not really a great worker, but for some reason, they packed it. That place was packed, and they were literally screaming at the top of their lungs the whole time.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, it said something about them. And I think for two guys that really couldn't, are not really great, in the business, but still were great.
Yeah.
I don't know how better to explain that. I mean, that in itself was a very epic match. I think it was the first time I've ever seen two good guys just go at it in a main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and it really is their just chemistry and their chemistry with the fans that really, I mean, it's amazing.
Well,
So.
it worked so well because Hogan can't wrestle, and then Ultimate Warrior was so blown up by the time he got to the ring that he was slower, so it could work for Hogan's pace. So I think that's why it worked so well.
Well, I mean, Hogan probably, I know he can work matches. I know he can work good. I've seen a match with him against Muda in Japan, which apparently Muda didn't give him any option but to work. And it was an awesome match. I mean, flat out awesome. Probably the best match I've ever seen Hulk looking at.
All right, well, let me ask you, what is your most embarrassing moment in wrestling?
Oh, wow. For me, it was probably 2 years in, and I had the flu. And halfway through the match, I had to literally roll out, and, started throwing up. It was very embarrassing because, I was sick, but I had promised to do it. It was like, when I promised something like that, I try to make sure I do it. And they knew I was sick, and I was going to try to make it quick, but it just fell all on me, and I rolled out of the ring. I had at least enough sense about me to roll out of the ring and go straight, to the closest garbage can and start throwing up. But, it was still pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I can understand that. Especially a lot of these, most of the independent shows, they really depend on, their workers to be there. So
regardless if you're sick or not.
Yeah, so,
Right.
and then there's a lot of fans that show up for just one person, and so I'm sure you had some people there depending on you fan-wise, so.
I don't know. I don't think I got my first win until I was like 3 years in. Back in the day when guys trained and then they started wrestling, you actually had to earn every step you took. And I see it nowadays, and it's not like that. It kind of worries me about what direction this business is going. But at the same time, it's not just one person's fault. It's the vet's fault too. They need to step up and take that initiative with the new guys.
Yeah.
So.
Well, do you have a favorite champion of all time? And it can be any type of champion, independent scene or even, tag team or whatever.
Oh, wow, favorite champion of all time. I would probably have to say Kurt Hennig. I think that, to be honest, he was shortchanged in all the shows that he ever wrestled for. He could have been heavyweight champion easily. And he would have pulled it off. He would have carried it well.
Yeah,
and it was never really given that chance. And for that, I would say for the title that he held, he made it his heavyweight title. His world title in WCW, whatever championship he held, that was his world title. And the WWE, that was his world title. And what belt he carried. I know, like in AWA, I think he did carry the world championship or their heavyweight title. But I'm talking about once everything's separated and you either was WCW or WWE, he never really got that push that he should have gotten.
Yeah.
And I think he was probably one of the best champions of all time.
Yeah, we can definitely agree on that,
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. What is your favorite finisher or wrestling move?
Oh, wow. I'm pretty partial to the super kick, but I also use a cradle shock on occasion. So it's one of those two is usually one of the things that I'll probably, pull in. The super kick, you can pretty much pull it out anywhere.
Yeah.
And a cradle shock is if you've got them set just right, if you can hook it just right and drop it, they're not going to pull out of it. They're not going to kick out. So it's one of those two that I normally would go to if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually watching one of your matches right now, so it's looking pretty good. You're up in Ringgold, and I can't think of the guy's name. You're wrestling now, but I remember seeing him when we was there. It's DDM, whoever DDM is.
Dominic Derek Myers.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember now because I remember him coming out up there.
Yeah, he and I had a pretty good match. I mean, I think in that match he pretty much cheated to get the win. Of course, he had Rocky Spurlock on the outside giving him a hand. So, the odd matchup against you sometimes like that, you can't get the win. But that's okay. Things like that do happen.
Yeah. Well, do you consider anybody, or do you have anybody that you consider either overrated or underrated?
Oh wow, yeah, absolutely. Overrated right now, I think, is the Shield. I mean, a lot of people like the whole gimmick and everything with that, and it's okay, but it's too much too fast. They're being shoved down everyone's throat. Yeah. On the upside with that, though, if any one of those three guys was actually trying to be pushed for a real good singles belt or the heavyweight title, which I would be thinking most. Underrated, I would have to say Dolph Ziggler right now, and Curtis Axel, because, I don't think I've ever seen an Intercontinental Champion lose so much. So,
that's true. Yeah. But they've been putting him up against CM Punk, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're basically sacrificing him, they're just handing him over, on the walls there. And he is much better than that. I've seen him in some really, really great matches, and they're just not giving him that chance. They're just using him as a sacrificial lamb to CM Punk for Paul Heyman, and he's capable of much more.
Well, now that they're kind of moving to Ryback, or they are with a Ryback CM Punk feud right now, so maybe they'll give Curtis Axel a push in another direction with somebody else.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
So
from the way it's looking like they're getting ready to turn Curtis Axel. He is literally, like I said, he's been sacrificed up so much, and Paul Heyman has concentrated so much on Ryback that Turtles has just been pushed to the side. Yeah. And I think that's going to frustrate him to the point where he's going to go, okay, I've had enough. I know I can do this on my own, and go his own route.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's funny. I just noticed the first video we had up. We was at that show. I just saw us in the audience.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't notice. I picked a couple of your videos where you was wrestling, and I just happened to look down, and I saw my big old head in the background, and I'm like, "Hey, that's me." So we actually we were showing one of your matches. We was actually at the show. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite tag team or stable?
Oh wow, favorite tag team or stable? Road Warriors was a great tag team. I like their style, real in your face. There's nobody to control.
And a great tag team move. I love their
tag team move. Absolutely awesome. Those guys are, really, really dominant.
Yeah.
And I'll have to go with Road Warriors on it. They were really, really awesome.
Well, do you have a favorite catchphrase that either is of your own, or just a saying of your own, or even of a pro?
Oh, well, not a pro, but for the most thing, we had two things. Once when I was taking the venue, basically, it's not. We always say we're not a gimmick, we're not a phase, we're all the rage. And of course, me being a vampire wrestling, I've always been able to say, you can't kill what's already dead. So that's pretty much some of the things I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Well, that wraps up our 10 questions that we ask everybody to kind of get, a feel for their style and what they like, and so your fans can kind of see what's going on. Is there anything you have going on or coming up anytime in the next month or so?
Just on occasion, you guys can catch me at RCW down in Chatsworth, doing TWE Chattanooga down in Red Bank. Every first and third Saturday. If there's a fifth Saturday of the month, we'll do that fifth Saturday as well. Great crowd up at TWE. Above all, TWE right now is rising really good. The crowd is excellent. The guys that's in the card are top of the line. These guys are always out there giving 110%.
Yeah.
And so far, I don't think I've wrestled for a better show since TWE. So I'm really, really enjoying TWE.
We definitely want to make it up there. We've definitely got some places planned in the next couple of weeks, and so we're definitely going to aim for that to be one of them pretty soon. So
can't wait to see you guys come up there and check it out.
Definitely. So, well, we thank you very much. We appreciate it a lot. We really enjoy watching you wrestle, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and let our fans get to know you better. And so, hopefully, they'll come out and see you. So.
Oh, my pleasure. I appreciate you guys asking me to come on the show. Really enjoyed it, and I've watched some of the stuff that y'all put out on YouTube, and I've really enjoyed the interviews you guys have done. And I'm looking forward to seeing what my interview is.
Great. Well, yeah, until we see you again, thank you very much.
Yep, and we'll talk to you later, sir.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, man. Well, that was Shawn Rage.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've seen him wrestling. There was our proof a minute ago. I didn't even notice when I picked that video.
Yeah.
I just happened to glance down in the audience, and we was back here. Well, I saw my big hit. I'm like, that guy looks familiar. And I'm like, oh, that is me. That's why he looks familiar. So and then I found you sitting right next to me. But we both like his style.
Or they were just our doppelgangers that were there, you know?
Yeah, our doppelgangers are best friends too. That's awesome.
That's crazy. So,
But I wonder if your doppelganger's dating your girlfriend's doppelganger.
maybe.
Hey.
I don't know.
But so I'm excited to see him wrestle again. Y'all should go check out his YouTube page. I just typed in Shawn Rage and a whole bunch of stuff pulled up, man. He has a bunch of videos up.
So, we saw him at SCW, which was really good.
Yeah.
That's the show that we said that it had a really good storyline for being an independent show and for being, that it was our first show being there. So that was really impressive. So if you can check out SCW, also you can check out, he said TWE. So if you're in the North Georgia area, that's a little bit closer to Chattanooga. So if you're in the lower Tennessee area, you can also check them out. So
absolutely. All right. Until next time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the announcers table today. Check out our other videos. Monday and Tuesday is our promotion and gimmick builder. Then we have our Friday pro segment, and you can check out another interview next Wednesday. So,
yep. And then we'll have a special video on Thursday. Ian does a tutorial on how to look pretty.
Yeah, it's a makeup tutorial. They go really well on YouTube, so it's supposed to boost our performances. So.
Until then, I'm Daryl.
And I'm Ian.